A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. I'm Ritwika Gupta and you're watching our very special Eye on Dubai series coming to you straight from the heart of the city itself. In this week-long showcase, we're covering various sectors here in Dubai, talking about the growth opportunities and the emerging trends. Today I'm here at the beautiful Al Serkal Avenue. Now this is Dubai's artistic and creative hub. And we'll be deep diving into Dubai's creative economy, having a panel discussion about the artistic industry, sports, literature, and much more. Joining me today are Subhan Ahmad, COO DP World ILT20, Purva Grover, author and media partner for World Art Dubai, and Tamreez Inam, independent curator and former assistant programming director, Emirates Lit Fest.
Dubai, the business gateway of the Middle East, has been celebrated for its awe-inspiring architecture, bustling trade and business-friendly environment. In recent years, Dubai has been harnessing the power of creativity and innovation to diversify its economic landscape and position itself as a global hub for cultural expression, artistic collaboration and technological advancement. The creative economy is one of the world's fastest growing sectors of the UAE. In 2022, the United Nations reported that it accounts for 3.1% of global GDP. Dubai recognized the need for transformation to secure a sustainable and prosperous future. Enter the creative economy, a dynamic sector encompassing art, design, technology, entertainment, and more. In this edition of Leaders of Tomorrow's Eye on Dubai special, we explored Dubai's transformation as a global hub for the creative economy, initiatives taken by the UAE government to boost the sector, and the opportunities to expand it further. Take a closer look at the visionary shift of the creative economy that has led to the cultivation of an ecosystem where imagination knows no bounds and innovation takes center stage.
Tamreez, Subhan, Purva, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Pleasure.
So I want to kick this off by asking you a common question in terms of how you perceive Dubai's transformation as a global hub for the creative economy. Take us through the evolution and what do you think are the key factors that have led to it? Purva, let's start with you.
So 25 years ago, there was no Al-Quoz creative zone. And I think 25 years ago was when the first block or the first brick was laid.
Right.
And that's how far we have come. And today we are sitting in an environment where there are art galleries, there are a lot of solo artists, and there are a whole lot of art fairs that are exclusive to Dubai. That's how far we have come.
Wonderful. Subhan?
So, 25 or so years back, we used to, UAE was only known because of Sharjah cricket event that used to take place, and we've come a long way from there on. We now boast of 62 cricket grounds proper in UAE. That's the amount of cricket that's being played in UAE, and obviously it's a contributing factor to the economy of Dubai.
Wonderful. Tamreez?
I've lived here for 10 years now, and just in those 10 years, I mean, Purva, you're talking about 25 years, but just in those 10 years, we've seen the place transform, especially for the cultural and the creative economies, you know, so in terms of art galleries, but also in terms of festivals, concerts, the creative sector is just buzzing.
Yeah, absolutely. Subhan, coming to you, tell me, how are you bridging culture, you know, through sporting events like the ILT20, you know, what sort of an exchange are you creating and how do you think this is all contributing to Dubai's, sort of emergence as a creative hub?
So you would know that of the entire population of UAE, almost 80-85% comprises of expats.
Yeah.
And majority of that expat population comes from the subcontinent.
Sure.
And as you would know that the entire subcontinent is cricket fanatic.
Yeah.
So that's the strength of this place. We've managed to sort of bring them all together. They all love cricket. That's a given. And through the ILT20, we have managed to provide them an opportunity to watch their the favorite sports played in UAE.
Yeah.
We never used to have a league of our own. ILT20 has provided them that platform and a league which they can call their own league.
Right. Tamreez, coming to you. So, whenever we think of Dubai, we think of it as a glamorous destination for shopping and retail and, the booming infrastructure. But not much is highlighted when it comes to literature and the arts. So, taking cues from your personal experience working with the Emirates Lit Fest, tell me how important are these literary events, to contribute to Dubai's creative economy, and in terms of even the business potential, what can you tell us?
So, when people think of a literature festival, they think of just books and authors, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
It brings together thought leaders, it brings together performers, storytellers, visual storytellers. And when you bring all of these people together, for the Emirates Lit Fest, we used to fly in people from around the world, but also a lot of local talent. And there's something around that changes the conversation, the thought leadership around a particular industry.
Sure.
So in terms of shaping up the cultural sector or the creative sector in general, but also within the festival, we would cover so many different sectors and genres. And I think within each of those, you're forming collaborations, you're forming partnerships, you're bringing the best talents together.
Yeah.
And we would see this after the festival as well, that it would create this springboard from which, not just during the festival, but for years later, you would see collaborations and projects and initiatives starting as a result of it. So I think it has a huge impact, not just on the local scene, but also internationally.
Nice. Purva, coming to you, your involvement in literature and arts, it sort of gives you a multi-dimensional, perspective, on the creative sector. But specifically when we talk about the art industry, just take us through the evolution, that has happened in Dubai, and what are the opportunities do you see now?
I see so many opportunities that it's difficult to sum it up. For example, to start with the golden visa. I mean, there is nowhere in the world that you can get a visa and a right and the pat on your back and the encouragement to stay in the country to create.
Right.
I mean, where else does it happen? So here in the UAE and in Dubai, you want to be a writer, you want to be an artist, you want to be a painter, you want to be a sculptor. The government is telling you, here, take a culture visa from we want you to stay in the country and create for us.
Sure.
So that in itself is a commendable, opportunity for anyone, from emerging artists to obviously established artists internationally as well, who can literally set up shop here.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would say that in terms of setting up a business here, today I want to sell my painting, all I need is a license, and I can secure a license within 15 minutes, and I can start selling, and I can get that kind of exposure, and I can connect with the community. I don't think it happens anywhere else in the world with the ease it happens, and also the encouragement that's given to everyone here.
Tamreez, coming to you, Dubai aims to be the global hub for creative economy by 2026. What sort of opportunities and challenges do you see, in terms of achieving this aim? Do you think this is a very ambitious goal?
If it were any other country, I would say yes. But those of us who live in Dubai, the kinds of things we see happening here and the pace at which they happen, these national strategies or state strategies come out in other countries and you think it's just something on paper. But when it comes out here, you see a lot of concrete initiatives backing it up without red tape and things shaping up really, really quickly. So I feel like when the government makes an announcement, a lot of us have faith that they are going to put everything behind it, whether it is regulatory support, whether it's infrastructure, like Purva was saying, with the golden visa, it's created a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of relaxation in terms of people's mindset. When your job is linked to your visa, there's a lot of restrictions around that. But now with the golden visa, with all of these things easing up and the government really creating this atmosphere where you can think of staying long term, where you can put roots, where you can create, where you have the space and the luxury to, think up ideas.
Yeah.
I think a lot of creative companies but also individuals are choosing to be here. And then with all the government support, whether it's the creative clusters that are being created, the strategy, the regulatory support, all of that feeds into it. So there's a lot of opportunity. And I think a really good example of how that all came together was Expo 2020, which because of the pandemic took place in 2021. But honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a global event of that scale executed in such an amazing fashion. In terms of bringing everyone together from around the world, in terms of how seamless everything was, in terms of the sustainability element, in terms of creating opportunities for local companies, but also international companies. And I think that's the kind of model that Dubai now seeks to replicate. But in Dubai, we don't replicate. We always go bigger and better. So I think that set a really good benchmark for the city and a very good example of how things are done. In terms of challenges, which is the second part of your question, I've lived here for 10 years and we kind of fall in love with the place. So we become very complacent about how great the city is or how great the country is. But internationally, there is still, I think, some preconceived notions that need to be tackled about the UAE, and very unfairly, but they kind of lump together the Arab world and the UAE, someone who's not been here. So those who haven't been to Dubai still kind of have these notions of whether it's a very, very glitz, glam, superficial place, or it's all very transitory, or there are still a lot of restrictions. So there's a lot of these preconceived notions. And I think that's where tourism plays a big role and people have to come and see it for themselves. So going back to the Emirates Lit Fest, where I worked for a number of years, we would fly in authors from around the world, and those who came for the first time, they would always keep coming back. And they would tell us that, we actually had these preconceived notions about the place, but once you've been here, you've met the multicultural, cosmopolitan population and, the opportunities, you completely change your mind.
Sure. It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11, and you're watching our very special Eye on Dubai series. And today we are having a discussion about Dubai's creative economy. Listen in. Tell me, what sort of support have you received from the government in terms of the initiatives from the policymakers to really help boost this sector? Subhan, maybe we can start with you.
Yeah, so I would actually second the views of both Purva and Tamreez. The ease of operation is the key. The government has been extremely supportive of any initiatives that have been taken. So we have never encountered difficulties in getting approvals from various government entities, visas. There are close to 1,000 people who actually visit during a cricket event, and never have we encountered any issues with this. There haven't been issues with customs. It's a tax-free place, and that's something that we really like about this place.
Awesome. Purva, I know you also mentioned about the licensing and the golden visa, but is there anything else you'd like to ask?
When it comes to when you have a visa which is associated with your job, it does put a whole lot of pressure on you. And globally speaking, what happens if anyone is a creative school, whether you are an artist or a tattoo artist or a singer or a painter or a musician, you're always told that to have a plan A, to have a full-time job and pursue this as a hobby or as a dream, or as millennials would say, as a side hustle. But here in the UAE, they're telling you, you don't have to do that. You have the creative freedom. to pursue whatever line of work you want to, and we have your back in doing that. So I think that does take a lot of you to create in an environment where you're not solely dependent, and you're not looking at this purely to pay your bills. There's someone telling you, no, go ahead, like fly away. Like Tamreez said, that everything here is bigger, bolder, and better. So there is nothing known as over ambition here. Once Dubai thinks of doing something, it happens, and that's the kind of faith everyone who's living here. I've lived here for 10 years and I have the golden visa as a writer, and I'm writing books purely because of that.
Right.
And of course, the ease of convenience, like when they tell you you can create this, they offer you a 360-degree solution to it. So they're giving you the spaces, whether it's co-working spaces to create, they're giving you the license to create, they're also facilitating on how you can sell, how you can do multiple workshops. So it's a 360-degree solution. Even to the fact that if you are visiting a creative zone like an Al-Quoz or an Al-Sarkal Avenue, you've been given public transport, you've been given free tuk-tuk to ride around and explore.
Nice.
So that's how much they take care of making it happen. So there is nothing that's left untouched. Every aspect is looked upon. And what's most beautiful is that every now and then there are these open houses wherein the authorities actually invite everybody from the community. And I'm not just talking about artists or creative souls. Anyone can walk in and say, hey, I feel this needs to be done, and they will hear you out, take note, and they will actually get back to you on what they're doing.
Nice.
I've attended a few open houses, and it's amazing how they take out the time and have the patience to answer to the multiple queries.
Wonderful. So we have definitely talked about Dubai's creative economy potential, and there seems to be a lot of opportunities. But I'm keen to understand now, what about the money aspect of things, about the investment, and Purva, staying with you, tell me what sort of opportunities has it created for like smaller businesses, MSMEs, or like the smaller players in the art scene? Like, are they able to get the kind of investment they're looking for a creative sector in Dubai?
Definitely, if you just look at the number of galleries that opened during the pandemic in Dubai, that in itself is going to leave you amazed. World Art Dubai, which is the region's most affordable art fair, there was one edition which was held during the pandemic, and every single artwork was sold. Like by the end of the fair, the walls were empty, almost empty. So that's how much they encourage people to come in here, and that's how much people want to invest and take part in these events. For the 9th edition, which happened in 2023, there were close to 300 plus participants, 4,000 plus artworks, and from 60 plus countries.
Right.
So they've really gone larger and invited everyone to be part of the community and towards the culture that they're building.
Wonderful. Tamreez, coming to you, I think you briefly mentioned a while ago, but do you think there is a possible synergy between the creative sector and the tourism sector, and especially through events like the Emirates Lit Fest, and other literary events like these, can it also help boost the economy through tourism?
No, absolutely. And there's so many of these that are happening now. Another really good example is the Comic-Con. I personally know so many people from around the region who fly to Dubai or Abu Dhabi for the Comic-Con, you know. So these kinds of events definitely, once you've developed a reputation and you do them consistently and you do them well, people definitely fly in. And I think Dubai is just so central for a lot of places in Asia, Africa, Europe, that for people to fly and take a 2, 3, 4, 5 hour flight and come and spend the weekend here, come with their friends or family and just make a little holiday out of it, a lot of people are already doing it, and we'll see more of this.
All right. So I'm just going to open this up again, a common question to all three of you. Tell me, what are some of the big ideas, or the conversations that you have been a part of, or, in simpler terms, the emerging trends, that you see have the potential to impact the creative sector in a big way, in the coming years? Purva, let's start with you.
I'd say that, one common discussion and one binding factor which I see in Dubai in every conversation happening in every coffee shop or probably on fields or in literature fairs is also that you can never grow alone. So you have to grow together, which is where all the sectors tie in. There is tourism, there is economy, there is art and culture. So in culture, you say that you grow together when you grow together with the community. It's much like saying, you need a village to raise a child. So you actually need the entire village to spread the culture.
Sure.
So which is the conversation I see, which is what she also mentioned, that even at Emirates Lit Fest, it's not just about authors. It's about a lot of collaboration collaborative efforts. It's about everybody coming together, whether it's visual storytellers like you mentioned. So everybody's coming together and contributing towards it, and nobody's saying no, nobody's hesitant to join hands. Like, we say that, you fix each other's crown and then you shine brighter. So that's one common thing that I've heard all across.
Nice. Subhan?
So, talking from a cricketing point of view, we are in the process of developing an entire ecosystem, which will not only include the broadcasters, the fans, the franchisees, the administrators. So it's going to be a growth that is going to be collective for everyone. And that's we've already started that process, and we see this growth taking place in the next 2 to 3 seasons of ILT20. And as I said, all these stakeholders that are there are here to stay. They are not there for a short period of time. They're taking a very long-term view of this product. They believe in this product and they believe in this destination, and that's what we are trying to build on for years to come.
All right, Tamreez?
I think when you talk about any sector, it doesn't happen in a silo. And like Purva was saying, there's a lot of collaborations. What I really appreciate about the government strategy and execution in terms of, let's say, the creative economy strategy in Dubai is that the other industries and sectors are also supporting it and feeding into it. So whether you think of the knowledge economy, you think of the universities in Dubai. So once the government comes up with a strategy, it's being streamlined across multiple sectors. So from what's happening at the universities to what's happening in the business sector to what's happening, creatively, whether it's an individual writer or painter or artist to someone who's bringing a huge company here. So in terms of the big ideas, I feel like collaboration is the most exciting thing. We've got COP28 taking place in the country later in the year, and that's really exciting. And what's been really amazing in terms of the high-level meetings that the government has been having around that, and the sustainability champions like Her Excellency Razan Al Mubarak, is that they're bringing everyone into the conversation. Whether it's sustainable fashion, whether it's education, whether it's a designer, whether it's a sports person, they want the whole country and the whole city to be a part of that conversation. And I think that's how change happens and how economies thrive.
Absolutely. Well, this was a very insightful discussion. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be a part of this. I think there will be some really interesting takeaways for our viewers today. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.